Hi everyone. This video will give you an overview and some highlights of the many resources and services available to you from the Pace Library as a graduate student in the Lubin School of Business. The resources we'll be looking at today are all available from the library website, which can be found at Library.Pace.edu. This video will truly only give you some highlights of the resources that we have available. I highly recommend that you go to the library website and dig deeper and really look at all the tools that are available to you. As a graduate student, I would recommend that first off, you activate what's called your interlibrary loan account. On the library homepage, under quick links on the right, you see interlibrary loan. Click on that link and then click the Pace Iliad login. Log in using your Pace username and password, and you'll be able to activate what's called your Iliad interlibrary loan account. Interlibrary loan is a service that the Pace Library provides where when the full text of an article is not immediately available in one of our research databases, we'll get it for you from another library in the region. We'll email you a link to then download that article. So as a grad student, I recommend that you activate your account right off the bat, and then it will be ready for you to use when you need it. Let's take a look at some of the research tools available from the library website. The Books and Media tab in the search widget here in the middle of the page tells you what books and ebooks are available from the Pace Library. So this will tell you what books are on the shelves in the 3 Pace Library locations, and it will tell you what ebooks we have that you can read online. You can do a simple keyword search or an author name search or a title search, and you can see the resources we have available. On the left, you do have options to view only the print books or only the ebooks. You can also use the publication year filter if you'd like to limit by publication year in the Books and Media tool. It's called Books and Media because it also tells you what streaming films we may have available. So you may see some streaming films in those results as well. Now let's look at the journal title search tool. And despite being called journal title, this search tool really searches any publication, a news publication, magazines, and academic journals. It's really a publication title search tool. So for example, if you want to know if we subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, which we do, you'll be able to type in the title of the publication, and then this will tell you if we subscribe where you can access the publication. So for example, the Wall Street Journal, the first result that comes up in the list is actually the Wall Street Journal archive from 1889 to 1922. If you scroll down though, you can see that we do have current articles from 1984 through the present in a database called U.S. Major Dailies. So if you click on U.S. Major Dailies, that will take you to the Wall Street Journal page in the U.S. Major Dailies database. And this is really the kind of thing that you'll encounter whenever you do a publication title search. You usually have the option to browse by year or month or issue or date, and then you can go in and browse articles, or you have the option like you have here to search within this publication. So if you really only want to find articles in the Wall Street Journal, but you have a topic you want to search, that's how you would do it. So I'm going to close my Wall Street Journal tab, close this tab, and I'll go back to the library homepage. The Harvard Business Review is something we get asked quite often. How do we have it, and where can you access it? So if you search for Harvard Business Review using the journal title search tool, you'll see that we do have the Harvard Business Review, and we do have from 1922 to the present. And to the present means when a new issue is published, it's automatically updated into the database. So we have the Harvard Business Review in a database called Business Source Ultimate. And again, like we saw with the Wall Street Journal, you have the option to browse by year, volume, issue, date, etc., or you can search within this publication. So as I said, the journal title search tool can be used to search for magazines, news sources, and scholarly journals. So for example, if we search for the CPA Journal, which is a peer-reviewed journal, you can see that we do have this as well, also from 1993 to the present in Business Source Ultimate. So that journal title search tool is really what you would use when you know the title of a publication and you want to know if the Pace Library subscribes. That's where you would go to search. Now we're going to take a look at the Databases tab. And the databases area is where I think you'll probably spend most of your time. The databases are the proprietary research tools that the library licenses and subscribes to. To use these from off campus, you will be asked to log in with your PACE username and password. I should have said the same thing for the ebooks and the journal titles. From off campus or off the PACE network, you will be asked to log in with your PACE username and password. Now, I'm just going to give you a few highlights in this video, but I would recommend that you go in and look more closely at all the resources available to you as a business student and see what's most important to you. So on the Databases tab, if you knew the name of the database you wanted to search, you could certainly go in alphabetically, but I would recommend that you use the subject menu and choose Business. And when you click on Business, it will automatically click that Go button and it's going to run the search for you. So what that did was it did a search across all the PACE library databases, and it found the ones that contain content that would be of interest in some nature to a student in the Lubin School of Business. So in this case, it found 38 databases that are possible search tools for you to use. You will probably not use all of them, don't worry. You'll probably pick a few and then use those. And I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm going to show you some highlights today. So we're going to start with a database called Business Source Ultimate. And we saw this briefly already in that this is the database where the Harvard Business Review is found, along with many, many other titles in the field of business. So Business Source Ultimate is a multi-purpose search tool. And on the main landing page, you can start to scroll, and it gives you a lot of options to go in and browse the content. So you can see the leading publications, so business magazines, accounting and finance journals, management journals, etc. You could go in and browse here. And then they're giving you some shortcuts to go in to see the other kinds of content. So this database contains journals, trade publications, news sources, magazines. It also contains company profiles, you can see here, some country information, some industry reports. They've broken out SWOT analyses for companies. You can get access to case studies. So you can see there's different other kinds of content in this database that you may want to go in and look at. So for example, if I go into company profiles by industry, it starts to show me some of the industries that are available. And we can also go in and browse alphabetically if we wanted to. These are just a sampling, so of course you can see the all company profiles is there, but you could go in from here and you could click and get industry reports. So I'm going to go back. And same thing, we could do company profiles or industry profiles by country. So you have a lot of different options here for going in and browsing. They also have kind of hot topics, you can see here, popular topics, and then they have featured business magazines, and you can go in and browse or search those publications. I think most people will probably search using the search box at the top. So for example, say that I want to search, I'm interested in wearable technology, so wearables or wearable devices. I will point out to you that I used the suggested search, so wearables or wearable devices or wearable technology. First off, there's some typos here. However, it accounted for that. So you can correct those typos if you want to. In this case, I'll do that just so we can see this. So wearable technology. And what that actually shows you is that those prompts that come up, some of those come from the database, but some of those are searches that other people typed in. So I would always double check them. The ORs, okay, or tells the database, look for any of those. That casts a wide net, that you can use that when you have synonyms or very closely related terms and you really want to see what's out there. So I'm interested in seeing what's out there about wearables, wearable devices, etc. So I find over 16,000 results. That's a lot. We're going to narrow that down. There are filters here across the top. There are some shortcuts we can use under all time. So this is your publication date filter. I'm going to limit to the past 12 months. That immediately took that number down significantly. Under source type, This is where you can see all the different source types that are available in this list of results. So I have academic journals, magazines, trade publications. There are some industry profiles and company profiles here. So you do get those other kinds of content as well when you're searching using the search tool in Business Source Ultimate. In this example, I'm going to click and just look at the academic journal articles. So now I'm down to 304 results. So that's not too bad. That's a manageable list of results. There is an all filters button here, which opens up the full filter menu on the right, and you could go there and use many additional filters if you want to further narrow down your list of results. Let's take a look at how we can access and use some of these results. So when you're scrolling through, you can see the article title or the document title, and then you see the authors, and then you'll see the source. So if it's a journal article, obviously you would see the journal title, and then you start to see some of the abstract. You can click to see more of that. Below the abstract, you see your access options. So many of these articles are available in PDF full text or HTML full text. You can open up the full text of the article, you can download, you can print, you can save. So all of those options are available to you there. If you find something you really, really like, you can click that More Like This button and it will run a search for you. Sometimes you come across something like this though, this item number 3 here. Below the title and the abstract, in this case, it doesn't say access options. It says search for item. So the search for item button, what that does is when the article is not immediately available, it searches across all the PACE library databases to see if we have it. And I mentioned this earlier when I talked about that interlibrary loan account. So you can see in this case, it says submit a request for materials outside the library collection. And there's the link, Pleasantville and New York City patrons, and that's you no matter where you are. The law patrons link is for students at the PACE Law School, so please don't use that link. So Pleasantville and New York City patrons request using Iliad Interlibrary Loan. It will ask you to log in with your PACE username and password, and it will fill out the request form for you. All you have to do is click Submit Request, and the interlibrary loan staff will get the article for you. It takes about 24 to 48 hours. They will email you a link where you can click and download the article. And I highly recommend that you do that right away because the articles only sit here to download for 30 days. So go ahead and download those articles as soon as they come in from Interlibrary Loan. So that's what happens when you see that search for item button. Click that, opens a new window, and you can easily request that article using the Interlibrary Loan service. Now for any of the articles listed here, if you click on the article title, you should always get an abstract, especially if it's an academic journal article. Up at the top right above the article title, you can see the quotation mark. That's where you can go in and get the citation for an article. Always double check that against your style manual. The little share icon with the arrow gives you options to get links, email yourself the article, and then there's the download icon there as well. So Business Source Ultimate, multi-purpose search tool. To go back to that main Business Source Ultimate page, you want to click on this kind of icon on the left that says EBSCOhost. That's the name of this interface, and that takes you back here to the main page where you can browse or you can search. And you can click the advanced search button over on the bottom right if you want to open up your search box and get a few more options right here when you're first typing in your search. So Business Source Ultimate, a great starting point for any research topic in the field of business, and it also contains some company information, industry information, SWOT analyses, case studies, etc. And you'll be able to use and browse all those things right there from the Business Source Ultimate page. Okay, so let's take a look at our next tool that we're going to highlight. And in this case, it's IBIS World. So IBIS World is an industry research tool. And the IBIS World product that the PACE library subscribes to is U.S. industry reports. So this particular one, we do not have global information. You saw in Business Source Ultimate, there was international industry and company information. IBIS World is U.S. industry information. And when you first land on this page, you can see what other people at PACE have been searching. You can also search by company name or keyword, and it will show you what industry reports are available. We'll take a look at hotels and motels in the U.S. just as an example. And the reports in IBIS World all follow the same format. So they're all going to have this table of contents over on the left where you're going to be able to navigate through this long report, or you can just start scrolling and it will start to take you through the entire industry report. So who are the major players? What you get some initial SWOT analysis right there at the top. They're going to talk about the performance of the industry, ratios, what's affecting the industry, what's volatile in the economy that might be affecting it, et cetera, et cetera. And the more that you scroll, you'll keep going and keep going through this report. Or you can use the links on the left. So for example, key statistics will get me into industry data for this industry. So you can use the table of contents on the left, or you can scroll. You can also download and save these reports if you want to look at them offline. So IBIS World is U.S. industry reports. The next one we'll take a quick look at is called Market Atlas. And this actually comes to us from a company, from Mergent. So it used to be called Mergent Online, if any of you had used that product in the past. Now it's called Mergent Market Atlas. The strength of this tool is really company financial and company information. So you can search by company name, you can search by ticker symbol. It's obviously really helpful if your company is publicly traded. Private companies are not compelled to file their financials. We do not have as much information about privately held companies. So here's an example, Marriott. So you start off in the overview section. You can see there are these kind of green buttons here across the top that allow you to navigate through all the content in the Marriott report. And then you just be sure to scroll down in each section and you'll see what's available there. So again, the strength of this tool is really the company financials. And the strength is that you have most all the company financials. You can see here on the left that you can look at different documents. And then really the strength is the time period covered. In many cases, this can go back 15 years, 20 years. The historical financials are available in this database. And you can export them all in Excel. There's an export there as well. So you can take a look and kind of dig deeper into here. You can see their filings with the SEC. You can look at the ownerships. You get a lot of information. This is company information database. Definitely highlight the company financial information for you. All right, so as we continue our highlight tour here, we're going to really quickly, Simmons Insights it's called here. It's really now called MRI Simmons. It might be called Simmons Catalyst. Most people will call it Simmons. Simmons is a consumer survey conducted in the United States on an annual basis. It surveys adults in the U.S. about brand and product usage, attitudes, psychographics, demographics. You get segmentation information. It's a very complex tool that I can't even really go in and show you in this video. There are additional videos on the library website and on the library's YouTube channel that give you in-depth instruction on how to use the Simmons database. But I did want to mention it that it's a consumer survey database. It's very unique content. And if you are a marketing student, I would definitely suggest you take a look at those materials. So that is Simmons. Statista is a really great statistics portal, international, US. It gives you data, lots and lots of data. So for example, I'm going to search wearables. It has some longer reports. So for example, here's wearables, statistics and facts, wearables, Apple users in the United States. The color-coded little icons, so the red and the orange are the longer documents containing information. And then the ones with the little blue chart next to them, those are just individual statistical items. So a table, a chart, a graph that you can then download as a PDF, as an image in Excel. Over on the right, you get information about where this came from. There's usually a short description that talks about the table or the chart. You can see more details. The little quotation mark icon, this is a question I get a lot. This is where you get the citation for this. If you're going to embed this into a presentation or a project, which you are encouraged to do, please use these. That's why it's there. You can still cite these sources in your project. So Statista, pretty straightforward. Search by brand, company, keyword, industry, and you'll find some data there. Another unique tool we have is called Winmo. And this does give you some very broad ad spending data. So for example, if I search for Marriott, you can see there's the Marriott International Company. I highly recommend, they will show you brand and company. If you look at company, you'll get more of the media spend information. So you're getting some general information about the company here. And if you scroll down, you can see below this description, there's this tab that says media spend, and that will bounce you down to the area where you can see the media spend information. So you can see the totals, you can see these very broad categories of broadcast, print, digital, radio, out of home, and search, digital search. So you can see those here. If you keep scrolling, you can see that for some companies, you do get social media spend. So here we do have social media spend. We also have how much are they spending to advertise on online video. And if we go back up to the media spend area, you can click this button that says View Media Mix Breakdown, and this will open up the different categories. So broadcast, print, etc., online, radio, out of home, and then within these categories you can break it down again by month. Okay, so you get more detailed information about the media spend. So that's Winmo. And again, what's available will depend on the company. Not every company has the social media spend, just so you know. So that concludes our whirlwind tour of research tools in the field of business. Again, books and media, journal title, databases are probably where you'll spend your time. Choose business from the databases menu. Be sure to activate your interlibrary loan account. And if you have any questions at all, please click on that big Ask a Librarian button at the bottom right. That will give you all the options to contact a member of the library staff and ask questions, and we would be happy to help.